While Americans and the West generally pride themselves on living in a free speech anti-censorship society, while simultaneously mocking the propaganda examples in places like Russia or China, the West's public is subject to more homegrown state-run propaganda than it thinks. The US government and Hollywood have always been close. Washington, D.C. has long been a source of intriguing plots for filmmakers, and LA has been a generous provider of glamour and glitz to the political class. But just how dependent are these two centers of American influence? Department of Defense documents reveal for the first time the vast scale of US government control in Hollywood, including the ability to manipulate scripts or even prevent films too critical of the Pentagon from being made, not to mention influencing some of the most popular film franchises in recent years. US government involvement also includes script rewrites on some of the biggest and most popular films, including James Bond, the Transformers franchise, and movies from the Marvel and DC cinematic universes. A similar influence is exerted over military-supported TV, which ranges from Hawaii 5-0 to America's Got Talent, Oprah and Jay Leno to Cupcake Wars, along with numerous documentaries by PBS, the History Channel and the BBC. When a writer or producer approaches the Pentagon and asks for access to military assets to help make their film, they have to submit their script to the Entertainment Liaison Offices for vetting. Ultimately, the man with the final say is the Department of Defense's chief Hollywood liaison. On set at Edwards Air Force Base during the filming of Iron Man, there was an angry confrontation between Phil Straub, the then liaison officer, and director Jon Favreau. Favreau wanted a military character to say the line, "People would kill themselves for the opportunities one have," but Straub objected. It seems that any reference to military suicide, even an offhand remark in a superhero action comedy adventure, is something the DoD's Hollywood office will not allow. Another one-line quip that was censored by the DoD came in the James Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies. When Bond is about to halo jump out of a military transport plane, they realize he's going to land in Vietnamese waters. In the original script, Bond's CIA sidekick jokes, "You know what will happen. It will be war, and maybe this time we'll win." This line was removed at the request of the DoD. Vietnam is evidently another sore topic for the US military. The movie Countermeasures was rejected by the military for several reasons, and consequently never produced. One of the reasons is that the script included references to the Iran-Contra scandal, and as Straub saw it, there's no need for us to remind the public of the Iran-Contra affair. Similarly, Fields of Fire and Top Gun 2 were never made because they couldn't obtain military support, again due to politically controversial aspects of the scripts. One of the most surprising alterations was found in an unpublished interview regarding the comedy Meet the Parents. The CIA admitted it had asked that Robert De Niro's character not possess a large amount of agency torture manuals. On television, over 1,100 titles received Pentagon backing, 900 of them since 2005, from Flight 93 to Ice Road Truckers to Army Wives. When you include individual episodes for long-running shows like 24, Homeland, and NCIS, as well as the influence of other major organizations like the FBI and White House, it has been established unequivocally for the first time that the national security state has supported thousands of hours of entertainment propaganda. For its part, the CIA has assisted in 60 film and television shows since its formation in 1947. This is a much lower figure than the DoD's, but its role has nonetheless been significant. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen is also quite possibly the most militarized film ever made. Many of the characters in the movie are military personnel, and genuine US troops were used as extras. By reputation, Hollywood is a town of lily-livered liberals. Military people rarely come off well in the movies. They are usually characterized as disciplinarian dads, neat-headed bullies, inflexible authoritarians, or, in the case of American Beauty, self-hating, closeted gay Nazis. But there's a contingent of filmmakers who seem to get on just fine with the troops, and chief among them are Michael Bay and producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Not only did Bay direct both Transformers movies, but also such war-tastic blockbusters as Pearl Harbor and Armageddon, each made with heavy military cooperation. Both were produced by Bruckheimer, who has also brought the world military-themed movies such as Crimson Tide, Black Hawk Down, and the daddy of the genre, Top Gun. It's not difficult to see what both sides get out of it. The use of official hardware gives a movie such as Revenge of the Fallen a much-needed veneer of credibility. Without the military, it's just a film about robots fighting. And it saved the filmmakers millions of dollars in props, locations, and special effects. Meanwhile, the military gets to show off its latest equipment to millions of people, and depict its personnel in the best possible light. In his 2004 book Operation Hollywood, David Robb paints a darker picture. Robb documents the discussions between the two sides on many movies since the Second World War. What emerges is a startling picture of an entertainment landscape shaped by the Pentagon. Sometimes the changes are laughable. In the James Bond movie GoldenEye, the Pentagon demanded the nationality of an incompetent U.S. admiral be changed if the producers wanted U.S. helicopters for the finale. He became Canadian. The military don't like to talk about the recruiting value of movies these days, but they are clearly mindful of the Top Gun effect. It seems impossible to imagine now, but in 1986, the sight of Tom Cruise and co. in white uniforms and aviator shades standing in front of throbbing jet fighters sent lots of America's young men straight to the nearest recruiting office. They usually didn't have to go far. The Navy installed special recruiting booths in cinema lobbies. Top Gun, which could not have been made without massive assistance from the DoD, was a slick, 2-hour recruiting commercial that coincided with a major leap in public approval ratings for the military. With a mere 50% in 1980, by the time the Gulf War started in 1991, public support for the military had spiked to 85%. Since Top Gun, the DoD propaganda machine has resulted in a current public approval for the military of 72%, with Congress at 12%, the media at 24%, and even churches at only 40%. The military is far and away the most popular institution in American life. Other institutions would no doubt have better approval ratings if they too could manage and control their image in the public sphere. Military pageantry in Russia, massive rallies in North Korea, blunt messaging from China. We laugh at shameless propaganda when we see it overseas. But it doesn't take much effort to see that American propaganda is everywhere too. It's not government-made, and it's not quite as brazen as its counterpart from abroad. But it's here, and to ignore that a piece of content is, at its core, propaganda is a mistake. Next time you watch a movie or TV program, just bear that in mind. If you like this video, then give a like and a subscribe.